Good day to our lecturer, Madam Naima. I'm Bryan from Group 3. Today, our group will be presenting our paper about how tuition culture affects parents and students. According to Bill in 2015, tuition culture is a multi-million-dollar industry. Initially, this industry was only prevalent in East Asian countries, but now it has grown to all parts of the world. The definition of tuition is additional classes provided after school to prepare students for public examinations with a paid fee. In this video, we'll discuss about how tuition culture affects students and parents from different perspectives, namely from two different countries, from parents and from students. We will also talk about the pros and cons of tuition culture.
Hello, this is Acer Ibrahim, and in this topic we are going to discuss private tutoring in Egypt and in Malaysia. So first things first, private tutoring is very common in developing countries, and the causes for private tutoring are various. For example, high returns, educational systems with high competitive nature, and depravity. We seek to differentiate between optional private tutoring based on students' or parents' willingness to improve knowledge about the subject, and forced private tutoring, where a school teacher forces students to take his private sessions. In a survey done by Ahram newspaper back in 2013, Mahmoud, a senior student at the primary Tahrir school, explained that there is no way to avoid private tutoring. Mahmoud also added that private sessions help him get a better understanding of academic topics because there is only a few students, unlike school classes that are overcrowded with more than 50 students with no strict limitation on the number of students per class. In the same survey, Assam Shinawi, a primary teacher at public Ibn Khaldun school, believed that it is normal that public schools teachers seek private tutoring as for their low salaries. Mr. El-Shinawi also wondered why their salaries remain very low, although they are fundamental to the educational process, while all the money assigned to education goes to the government administrator's salary. Forced private tutoring hindered the quality of the educational system badly, allowing an informal market and a routine system to grow. This system evaluates students based on their grades and their parents' ability to pay. This situation is also found in many regions, for example, Eastern Europe and South Asia. Moving to South Asia, private tutoring is becoming an ordinary thing in Malaysia. We define private tutoring here as additional paid classes outside the official schooling system, based on students' and parents' willingness to improve academic level, as we mentioned before. Large-sized classes made parents believe that sending their children to private classes is the only way to have better understanding of school's academic topics. In addition, the obsession with grades and exams has promoted the development of tutoring. Cultural factors also impact spending on tutoring lessons because parents and students in Malaysia strongly believe that private tutoring is very efficient.
Have you ever wondered parents' perspective on sending children to tuition? In society, before children grow up and become independent, most of the children's decisions and judgments are based on the perspective or preference of parents. Parents are the ones that have financial earnings, thus they play a dominant role in determining whether their children should go for tuition. In Singapore, one of the factors which parents send children to tuition is a robust competitive mindset among the parents. Kiasu parents, also known as hyper-competitive parents, anticipate their children to have better academic achievement, go to better universities, and survive in the intense competition in the country. So they send their children to tuition, hoping for better positional advantages. In Pakistan, parents with financial ability willingly send their children to tuition for additional coaching to secure higher grades for joining professional colleges after schooling. Some parents send children to tuition due to other factors, including illiteracy of parents, busyness on the job, thus insufficient time in assisting children academic, and late homecoming. While in Manipur, India, most parents believe that tuitions occupy children's free time and help weak students to eliminate their doubts, thus improving academic performance. Chingthem claims that in families where children are first-generation learners, they thought schooling is insufficient and tuition can fill the gap to educate their children. In sum, parents of different countries share the same motivation and value on sending their children for tuition. The popularity of tuition culture is due to parents' hope for a better academic performance and entrance of professional courses in high-ranked university or colleges.
Apart from parents' perspective, It is imperative to pay attention to what the students' perspectives are towards tuition culture. This will help us understand more about how tuition culture affects students. From a student's point of view, tuition is more effective than school when it comes to exam preparation. According to Young in 2019, tutors are better at curating test-taking techniques than school teachers because tutors do analyze trends of an exam. This agrees with another paper written by Ko and Bray in 2014 that states, tutors use a selective focus approach when teaching rather than a teach-everything approach used by school teachers. Besides, students perceive tuition is better than schools due to the commodification of education. According to Jacob in 2013, commodification education is a process in which knowledge is packaged and reduced to be sold to the public. Tutors package themselves nicely to be promoted through various advertisements. Young in 2019 states that this phenomenon creates a consumer mindset among students, manipulating students to regard tuition as a product sold in public. This phenomenon might not be beneficial for students in the long run, but at least it motivates students to study, to avoid wastage of time and money that are already invested in this tuition by their parents or themselves. Apart from that, tuition focuses more on students' superficial learning needs rather than deep learning needs. According to Floyd in 2009, superficial learning only focuses on just passing the exam, whereas deep learning engages with higher order thinking skills plus a personal commitment to learn the study material. This may be due to the fact that tuitions are additional classes that aim to help students prepare for exams only, not for deep learning. Conclusion: tuition is effective only when it comes to exam preparation, but not teaching deep learning. Plus, students may think that tuition is better than schools due to the commodification of education.
Hi, I'm Jie. After listening to my teammate talks about the student's perspective of tuition, now I'm going to share about the pros and cons of tuition culture. As you can see from our poster, the first advantage of tuition center is the weak students who are slow learner can gain more self-confidence. By having tutors as assistants, they are able to keep in pace with their peers and get good results. Nevertheless, according to Bray in 2013, by attending the tuition, the high achievers' learning is boosted even further because the tutor might have more time demonstrating how the knowledge can be used in real life, which will stimulate the students' interest in the subject. Besides that, as nowadays the parents are working day and night, they have less time to support their children in learning. Hence, according to Bray, investing their children in tutoring might offer a sense that the parents are doing everything they can for their children at critical junction in their children's lives. Now we will move on to the cons of tuition culture. As everyone knows, nothing is perfect in this world. Tuition culture does have its own disadvantages. The first one is that students will feel more fatigue and exhaustion when attending private tutoring because they might move straight to the tuition after attending a long time at school, which is really tiring. Furthermore, Bray also identified that private tutoring is a financial burden for some of the families, as the tuition fee might be too costly to afford. On the other hand, the students might become socially handicapped as the students who attend tuition devote more time to learning and spend less time in engaging with friends. In short, there are always two sides to every question. Tuition culture does bring positive effects as well as undesirable outcomes on both students and parents. Thus, instead of making decisions by the parents alone, the students and parents should consider and discuss together before signing up for tuition.
To conclude this paper, the effects of tuition culture can be observed clearly through the perspectives of different countries, parents, and students. The effects not only reflect the positive side of tuition, but also the negative side of tuition. Therefore, parents and students should discuss openly whether or not to attend tuition in order to understand the need for tuition and to prevent tuition culture from affecting them negatively.